Welcome to the second class on science and religion. To review, in the first class we discussed the 6 days of creation. We reconciled 6 days of universe history with 15 billion years as calculated by science. We came to the conclusion that you can measure different times for the same event if you recognize that Einstein predicted this as a result of his relativity theory. We also saw that the sequence of events in the formation of the earth and man, predicted by science, match those described by Torah. Today, we are going to examine the necessary steps in creating a universe from nothing. Is it too unlikely to have occurred by chance? What does Judaism say happened, and what does science have to say about this? Do they agree or not? Does creation of a universe with life require divine intervention? In Class 3, we will discuss the future, about free will and destiny, and in Class 4, we will talk about bringing science and religion together. Can we bring science into the synagogue? Okay, so science and Torah do not contradict each other on the 6 days of creation. Schroeder goes on to argue, this leaves open the possibility for the existence of God. But he goes on to say, now I also have proof for the existence of God. And he introduces something I like to call the long odds argument. And it goes something like this. The long odds argument starts by telling us that when there is a chance of an event occurring, statistically low odds events simply don't occur. And when they do occur, it must mean that the game has been fixed, or in other words, some intelligence slanted the game so that the low odds probability event would occur. Say you're playing a game of roulette, and I told you to bet on the number 5, and you won. That's not such a long shot, and it could happen, and you wouldn't necessarily think the game was fixed. Now suppose I told you to bet on the number 5 again, and you won again. And I asked you to do this 5 more times, and each time you won. Are you beginning to think the game might be fixed? Probably. That's a really low probability event. In fact, the odds are over 114 billion to 1. Long odds. Too rare. An intelligence must have fixed the game. That's the long odds argument, and it's quite a good one. So here are the long odds for life on Earth. The long odds argument is also called the anthropic argument, and we'll talk about that. The first piece of evidence is that fossils tell us approximately 3.5 billion years ago, Earth became capable of sustaining life. Within 500 million years of this time, life was established on Earth. That's too fast according to science. For chemicals to organize into the simplest bacteria on chance alone, given the known rate of chemical reactions, it would have taken longer than the age of the entire universe for this to occur by chance. Random chance can't be what's involved here. And this is also not an evolutionary process. There's more. The weak anthropic argument says there were too many long odds events for the formation of life to occur by chance, and religious people quote these odds a lot when creation is brought up. There is a stronger argument, and we'll get to that. First, the weak anthropic argument. Here we go. There were many special conditions that were required on Earth for the development of life. The possibility of this happening by chance is very low. For instance, the sun blew off vast amounts of matter in its early formation as a star. This happened at the one short time in the Earth's history when our atmosphere was made up of chemicals that were able to protect the Earth from damage. How lucky for us. The Earth has a near circular orbit, plus or minus 3% from a perfect circle. Mars has a more elliptical orbit of plus or minus 7% from a perfect circle. If the Earth followed the more elliptical orbit that Mars has, temperature swings would be too wide to support life. Our oxygen-rich atmosphere has an ozone layer, which shields out life-destroying ultraviolet radiation and allows in life-supporting heat and visible light. Aren't we lucky that that is there? The Earth has a molten nickel-iron core, which is rotating and therefore produces a magnetic field. This protects the Earth from dangerous radioactive particles. Why is that there? There are many more unusual oddities about Earth, which make it unique. The odds are projected to be in the billions to one of all of these events happening and being necessary for the formation of life on Earth. Is this a sign of intelligent design and the game of life on Earth being fixed? Let's see. Back to odds. Is there a way around this? A 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds for an event means that if an event is looked for 1,000,000,001 times, it will be observed to occur once on average. This is a statistical fact. So if you want to have a shot at a 1,000,000,000 to 1 event occurring, you need to have an attempt at producing it at least 1,000,001 times. So how many attempts at producing an Earth-like, life-sustaining planet could there have been in our universe? Our universe has billions and billions of stars that could potentially be suns. There's a midrash that says that God created and destroyed many worlds before our Earth was formed. Could this be what they are getting at? If we have at least several billion potential Earth-like planets and suns in our solar system, the odds for life happening and a perfect Earth forming surely must have happened at least once. And that once would be us. That is the scientific answer to the weak anthropic argument. We are the long-shot event in billions and billions of random tries at a life-sustaining planet. Okay, sure, maybe. Schroeder goes on to argue that the odds are too high, and not enough time in the history of the entire universe has passed for this to happen by chance alone. And he may be right. Random chance may not be enough. But there's a bigger problem still. We have only one universe, and it is set up with at least 20 different constants in the universe with values that are completely unexplainable and could have been any billions of values for each. For example, gravity. Why is it as strong as it is? If it was a little bit weaker or a little bit stronger, matter couldn't form. How about the mass of a proton? Why is a proton as massive as it is? A little bit stronger or a little bit weaker, atoms couldn't form. Why is the speed of light what it is? There are many more. If any of these values were even different by more than a few percentage point of what they are, life would be impossible. This is the strong anthropic argument. Why are these universal constants at these values, and all of them at once necessary for a stable universe that could produce life? There is very low probability for random chance to provide all of the aforementioned and more simultaneously in order to support life. It therefore could not have been random chance that created life. So here is our puzzle. Can science reconcile the strong anthropic argument? Why do we have a universe with physical laws that seem tailor-made for life? If not God, then randomness is the only option we see, and that does not work because we only have one universe. And what about the first moment of creation? The fact that there even is a universe. Does that prove that God exists? Why is there a universe at all? Schroeder argues that from this we must conclude that God exists. But is there another scientific explanation for this?